Hey, how you doing, guys? My name's Ben Whitfield. I've created a app that helps do plate math, which I've called plate math actually. Um, and in a lot of weightlifting competitions, oftentimes you have a barbell and you have different plates that you're putting on the barbell, and you're often exerted. So, and you have to do math during this time. So, whether you're doing like a deadlift or a clean or a shoulder press or a bench press, it's really kind of good to be able to do math quickly because you're often on a time limit. So in the past, I've kind of struggled, and for myself and my friends as well, uh, trying to do math as quickly as possible. So I really want to kind of create this app just to help me do that in the future better, and possibly kind of share it with people as well. So here's the main page, and here you're just going to like load the bar. So let's just say, I don't know, I'm a bench presser. I'm bench pressing today, and I want to do 185 pounds. So I can kind of just type that in, and I can hit calculate, and here it'll show what it is. So the bar in this sense is kind of the standard male bar. It's 45 pounds already. Then you do 45 pounds on each side, and then 25 pounds on each side. That all equals up to 185 pounds. So you can kind of type in anything you want, and it'll change the colors as well, depending on what the standard plates are. So in this case, 205 just adds a 35-pound plate. But then, if I wanted to do 215, hit calculate, just adds a 5 on. So it's really simple. It's very helpful. Actually, this is typically blank in this sense. Um, so here you can just type in bench press, and you can hit save to history. Then you go to your history, and here it is. Here's that 250-pound bench press. You can see my previous one was 185, and now I've done 215. It keeps showing you the amounts that it was before. You can see my previous entries as well with the deadlift, clean, etc. So really convenient. That way, if you have like a personal record, you can kind of see what you did before and compare it. And also, like if I'm training for a competition and I know what I want to hit, then I can just type that in, or I could really just type in what personal record in that day, and it would show. So it's very convenient. This other little side note here, uh, if I'm working like percentages, this is just if let's say my personal record is 215, I hit go. It'll show me my percentages of what that is. So obviously 215 is 100%. If I want to go to above that, or below that, obviously, a lot of times if you're doing more than like one rep, you're working off of um, percentage work and over several weeks. So you often like start at 70%, and then the next week you'll bump it up to 75, etc., 80%, and do different kind of rep schemes that way. So it's very helpful just to reference whenever it comes down to what you're looking for. So here's the load again. You can kind of see that it goes blank as well. I just want to kind of show this one more time. So this would still be empty. But then you go to the settings area, and here you can see you can change it from pounds to kilograms, and that changes all these different available plates. And these are kind of the standard colors for the plates too in competitions. Um, but it makes it really easy to kind of switch back and forth, and does the math for you that way. So here I can kind of go, 100 kilos, and it kind of does the math for you there. But here we switch back to pounds. You can kind of see the bar here. There's different standards of bars. Like just regular male standard bar is 45 pounds. A women's standard bar is 35 pounds. You have like a technique training bar that's also 15 pounds, and it'll adjust how things go that way. You can type in 100, and so it's 15 pounds plus the 35 plus the 5 and the 2 So that's kind of how that all works for you. It's really nice and convenient. So that way I can kind of keep track of everything. And well, a couple of little things I really need to keep working on. I probably need to add this like 2.5 pounds. I've noticed that I've kind of screwed that up because the 2.5 pounds is usually what it is instead of just two. But also, like in the history, I can kind of add dates in here would probably be more convenient, or a way to like reset your history would probably be a convenient way to do things too. Uh, so you can kind of check and see, or maybe even replace the different pieces. That would be very convenient. And here, I really probably need to add some more percentages just to kind of show, or maybe I can kind of click on different exercises that I have history with, and maybe it'll show me what those percentages are. That would be very another convenient way. So some things I'm going to work on, especially like aesthetically. I'd really like to kind of add the plates all into this main screen area would probably be really good. Add a dark mode, things like that. Um, so those are kind of things I really want to work on before I make this go live per se with other friends of mine that I show. Uh, Another little side note too, just the biggest challenges I really had was kind of switching the kilos and the pounds and the settings and kind of making that work. For some reason, I was just having a really hard time getting that to work correctly and show the different plates and kind of switch those up. I was probably overthinking it honestly because I just kind of ended up making new sections. But in the history too, probably really good because it uses the Firebase to save all the data, which is really convenient. But I really like the way it works. I can just kind of like